Thanksgiving for a lot of people during this Thanksgiving week, and we have Mike and Chastity in the kitchen.
Guys, we are cooking with one of my favorite things this morning, and that is deer meat.
You got it.
Oh, I love it. I've told Sarah before that I cook deer meat. In most of my meat dishes, I use deer meat. I love it.
Well, we've got it in today's dish for sure.
And you said this is actually from Saturday.
Yep, that's from Saturday.
You didn't cook it, though. Mike said he didn't see anything big enough that he wanted to shoot.
Well, I cooked it, but I didn't shoot it.
That's right. Hey, that's the best part, right, Mike?
We've let a couple of does walk on by. We're waiting for the horns.
That's right. Hey, good advice there. I know a lot of people went hunting this weekend. And speaking of cooking this morning, one meal, let's talk about getting ready for Thanksgiving, Mike.
Well, One Meal does a meal every Sunday. We don't actually hit the holidays. We give them a consistent meal. It's every Sunday. We haven't missed a Sunday in 5.5 years. One Meal needs continuous help from the community in the forms of monetary donations, food, supplies. You can even just come down and help, or if you've got a large enough group, you can do the whole meal. Right now, One Meal is really hoping somebody out there might have a little small enclosed trailer they might want to donate to us.
Okay.
'Cause that would help a whole lot.
A small enclosed trailer, and what would that be used for?
Well,
just so people have kind of an idea.
Well, we've had an influx of how many people coming down there. My truck's getting real small.
Yeah.
You know, we used to do up to 150. Now we're doing 150 or more. So what I was going to use this trailer for is so I can keep the extra supplies that we need. And when we get ready to go down, we just hook up and go.
And Mike, you mentioned, I know you've been doing this for several years, like you mentioned, more than 5 that you've been doing this.
Yes.
Where did this come from, this whole idea of this?
It started with my daughter. We went to the Propeller Club Gumbo Cook-Off downtown. And after it was over, a lot of the folks come looking for something to eat, any leftovers, anything they could get. On the way to home, my oldest daughter, Marina, had started having a little bleeding heart session with me and crying a little bit. Didn't know that there was so many people so close to us that don't have anything to eat and wanted to do something about it. So we went back the following Sunday, had some sandwiches, chips, water, and then we did that a couple Sundays, and then I got hooked on it real good, and I started cooking and just bringing all kinds, and I cook anything and everything, and I cook a bunch of it.
Yeah. And it's such a good thing, Mike, you know, that you go down there once a week to feed these people. And again, if any one of you at home, you're looking for something to do for the holidays or, hey, year-round to contribute to the community, One Meal would be a great cause to help support. Again, you can donate anything, your time. If you have any extra food, Mike will gladly take it.
That's it. Anything you want to give us. And we do have a new website now. It's onemealmobile.com.
Onemealmobile.com. Of course, we'll put that on our website too. That way everybody can get to it. And getting back to the recipe this morning, we're making venison Alfredo.
That's it. Venison Alfredo, and we're going to top it with this bacon that I'm going to crumble up, and we're going to have some sauteed mushrooms that I'm going to cook in that bacon grease because that makes it better, makes everything better.
Mike, you have to get Sarah to try the deer meat this morning. Has she? I don't know if she's ever tried it. I don't remember if she told me she's ever tried it. I keep telling her how good it is.
It's our morning challenge.
The morning challenge. But we'll be back in just a few minutes to continue to get this going with the Alfredo this morning. If you want to see the recipe, it's on fox10tv.com. And again, check out the wonderful cause that Mike is working on. And Joe will be back in a few minutes. Joe's had deer meat before, I think.
He's had it with me before.
Yeah.
Only thing missing this morning is I'm missing something.
Bacon?
My twirling knife.
The knife.
The twirling knife. Oh, how did Sarah? I didn't know that.
Yeah, the knife.
Left the house and forgot all about it.
It's weighted perfectly, so he spins it and doesn't cut anybody. Spins it on his finger.
Yeah, and the really nice thing when you're cooking with like venison meat or something, you spin it and then you just like stick it through to cut it off. Bzzz. No, I'm just kidding.
It doesn't really work like that, but it is a cool trick.
Made that part up. Not making this up. If you're planning a trip for the holidays, we have stretching for some of this meat over here. He's on his way over. What do you think, Mike?
I'm sure he is smelling bacon. We've got bacon and deer meat and a dog that's got a good nose.
All right.
You know he's over here.
Back with Chef Mike McKinley from One Meal, working on some special venison bacon Alfredo. Got the mushrooms in right there. What are you pouring on top there? This
is just a little bit of Italian seasoning and a little sea salt mixed together.
Okay. And I'm curious to see how you make your own Alfredo. You're going to work on that Alfredo sauce during this segment.
Well, start with the heavy cream, and I just do a simple one. I mean, there's probably, well, I don't know how many variations of this there is, but
you know what, though? People like it simple because then they can follow along and you don't have to be a super duper chef to make it.
No, you don't. This is, you know, I guess about as easy as it could be. I mean, you don't have to go as fancy as I did with all the mushrooms and bacon and everything. You just heavy cream, Parmesan cheese, and some meat, put it on some pasta, you're good to go.
So basically, it's just the cream. Oh, yeah, I see you got some flour or something there.
Yeah, that's liquefied cornstarch.
Liquefied cornstarch, okay.
Well, it's not liquefied yet, of course.
It's cornstarch about to be liquefied.
It's cornstarch, and we got the water, and we'll liquefy it, and I'll use that to tighten the sauce up to make it to the consistency you want.
All right, well, we talked a lot about one meal in your first segment with Chastity, but we want to talk about it every segment because this week, more so than many others, you have an extraordinary need. You have an extraordinary need all year round. You're telling me something near you guys closed recently, so you've seen an influx of people to one meal.
Well, I'd heard they had a tent city out behind Walmart in Tillman's Corner.
Yeah.
And I heard they had run everybody off out there, and so I'm guessing that's why I'm seeing 150 plus people eating with us.
And so to have 150 plus people, you need to feed them. How do people make their donations?
The easiest way now, we have a website, and the website is on the Studio 10 site.
Sure.
It's onemealmobile.com.
Okay.
So now all our information is in one spot, so you don't have to email or call me or anything like that.
One meal, one site.
Yeah, I like that. But you can go to onemealmobile.com, and it'll have it's got our wish list on there with the big item like I mentioned before. We're shooting for a trailer. But it has a list of all the food we use, the supplies we use, where you want to come to if you want to just come help. Everything you need to know is right there on that one website now.
Onemealmobile.com.
Yep. And we had a good friend of ours, Jackie Benson, had fixed us up with that. And
great.
yeah, we even got business cards now. I'm going to give you one when we leave.
Look at that. All right.
Yeah,
Doing good stuff at one meal. Those mushrooms can start to smell that Italian seasoning on them.
Oh, yeah. Now, these, you don't want to cook them where they're mushy. You just kind of al dente. Sauce is starting to come right along. You don't want to heat it up too fast because it will sear or singe on you and give it a bad flavor. You don't want that. I already cooked the pasta before we came on, and while we were in break and y'all were over there talking, I cooked the bacon and just crumbled it up.
Yeah, so you can sprinkle it up throughout the dish. That's great.
And when we get to the end, feta cheese. Now you can use whatever cheese you want to. I like the taste of feta. Adds a nice little flavor to it.
Sounds good to me. Yep. Well, you've got your Italian-based Parmesan cheese, your Greek-based feta cheese, your homegrown venison. So you've got a lot of different stuff. This is an international dish, Mike.
It is.
Fancy. All right. Well, we can't wait to see how this comes together. We will do that in just a little while. But now we need to talk about that Thanksgiving week weather. Ladies.
And welcome back to Studio 10. We are in the kitchen with Mike McKinley from One Meal, and we are making venison Alfredo this morning. It smells really good over here, and we are pretty far along in the process.
Yeah.
When you make Alfredo sauce from scratch like you're doing, a lot of people talk about they burn it and they worry about how to get it just the right consistency. So is there a trick to this?
Well, you don't want to scorch the cream to begin with. So you use a low temperature, bring it up slowly. That's what I did while y'all were doing the other segments of the show. And so we just added that Parmesan, and it's starting to melt. Once you get that Parmesan cheese melted into the sauce, and now see how the sauce is still kind of liquidy. All right, what I've got here is a little bit of cornstarch that I liquefied with just some water.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is we're going to use that to bring our sauce up to a thicker consistency for sticking to your pasta.
Okay. And how much of that do you put in?
Now you want to just make you enough to where you'll have enough, but you don't want to put too much. See, I put maybe 2 tablespoons in there.
Okay.
And look at the difference of it already.
It's already thickening up.
Right. And you just want to keep it stirring. You don't want your cheese to stick to the bottom. You want everything to blend in there together.
Okay. Yeah. And then you've added mushrooms and bacon to this to make this quite the tasty event here.
We're going to put the mushrooms, the bacon, and the feta cheese on the top.
Okay.
But we're fixing to incorporate some of this deer meat.
Okay.
That you may or may not try. You got that machete?
Teddy.
So everything you make is good, absolutely. Did you season this deer meat because it smells?
Yes, it's got Italian seasoning and a little sea salt in there.
Okay, so you browned it like in the pan, and now you're adding it to your sauce.
And add it to the sauce. And this one must be so good that I've even had a request for a special plate delivered.
I am certain that that's true. Every time you come, people line up to eat the food. And y'all are able to go hunting, and people bring you deer meat that you incorporate into what you feed.
Yeah, we deer meat is, this time of year is the biggest time of year. We fill our freezers up. People give us deer meat, and a lot of people empty their freezers out from last year so they can put this year's meat in, and they'll give that to us.
That's great.
Yeah.
And all of the food, all we're talking about, goes to One Meal, which is an organization that you started with your daughter to help feed needy folks across our area.
Right. We feed the homeless, the hungry, and the working poor in downtown Mobile every Sunday at 4 o'clock. And we don't stipulate any requirements. Our only requirement is if you're hungry, get in line.
Very good.
It doesn't matter who you are or what your reason for being there. Now see how that came together?
And we've mixed in now the deer meat with the sauce that you put together. And one of the things, just really quick about One Meal that I think is so fabulous is it was your daughter's idea. And the two of you did it together.
Yep.
It's just a really neat thing to be able to say that you've helped so many people. And you do every single Sunday.
Every Sunday we feed, we're up to now where we feed 150 or more people every Sunday.
Very good. Okay, so we're going to continue to put this together, and we're going to take it.
We're going to do this.
We're going to pour it right out, Chastity. That's the way to get it done fast. And we need to add the mushrooms and the bacon. And we're going to finish that up and send it over to you, Chastity.
Oh, it looks so good this morning. Well, moving on to